Hello everybody, welcome to another Saturday edition of What the Heck. I hope the audio is okay. Your audio for that demo I was just playing on Pimiga 5, which was When We Ride on Our Enemies, is brought to us by the Raspberry Pi 500 white bottom. Today is not about entirely the... Oh, my microphone, my apologies. There's like a 30-second delay. So, hello, welcome aboard everyone. I will be answering questions on the chat. I do have Discord running, but it's hard for me to go back and forth with... We'll get to that. What this is about, what is this? Please stand by for 24 hours. I want to announce the same thing I do every time a new Pimega is released, is the art contest. The art contest, isn't that Mr. Doug? Yeah, but I don't know what happened to Mr. Doug. Hope all is well. Anywho's, this is the art contest for Pimega. So brush up your AI skill set, or your D-Paint skills, or whatever it is you guys do to make these things. I'm going to show you some in a little bit. But what do we have going on today with the art contest? I wrote rules down, and then I forgot where I put my book, because I am prepared. Oh, there it is. Same as before, usually there's some certain criteria that we need. I'll show you some examples in a minute that are resolution based, just for how this works. La 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 la. Good morning to Toby, Big Galar, Sire, Mr. John, Mehuna, Stephen, Bruce, Stephen Bruce, Adam, SP6DA, Mr. Timothy, Mr. Cannon Fodder. I don't know how. This Lugos 3D printing. Oi, oi. Okay. So, I'm going to keep this stream to an hour or less, just so I don't bore you or suck up your Saturday. I'm going to show you Pimega 5, some changes, some things, and what has come to be. So the rules of the contest are... There aren't really any, but I'm going to try to be fair. 2 entries per contestant. You have several months to do this. Judging will be completed by the community. So you guys will choose the winners, who gets their boot screen and their backdrop into Pimiga 5 for both Intel and ARM. Today I'm going to be showing examples of both. So the boot screen side, what you see when it starts, now this version of Pimiga is extremely faster. So your boot screens will vary depending on your Raspberry Pi. Whether it's a 4, 400, 500, or whatever. The boot screens are going to be 8-bit, that's 256 colors, and the maximum resolution of 1024 by 768. And it has to be in GIF format, or GIF. The desktop pictures are 1920 by 1080 PNG, portable network graphics, and you can have a maximum color depth of 32-bit, 16.7 million billion quadrillion colors. That's it. So you can submit your artwork. 2 people, 2 entries, so that means 2 boot screens, 2 backdrops per person. So brush up your AI skill set, your chat GPT, whatever, and it must contain the word Pimiga. Now that's P-I-M-I-G-A. The logo you have seen, and I will show it. There will be a downloadable example for insertion if you need to in PNG format, so you can have the official logo of Pimiga. And the stuff that's the same on the trademark too. Hello from the Netherlands. Alright, taking this over from Doug. No, this is a separate thing I do every time I release Pimiga. Now, I'm sorry I took a year off. 2020, what year is this? 2024's Pimiga release was on hold because I figured, what more else is there to do? Then new hardware came out, so I was like, okay. And then I did the upgrade for the Raspberry Pi 5 to run Pimiga 4, and that worked for like 2 weeks until Debian decided to break some things inside science and math. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the screen, because I got all fancy, stayed up till 3 a.m. hooking up all these like camera switchable capture. I got a capture thing that works. It's called a North, like Peter. So, we're going to do this. Boop, boop. There we go. I'm down here in the corner. This is Pimiga 5 on the Raspberry Pi 5. Now, you're thinking, wow, that looks a lot like Pimiga 4. 3, 2, 1.2. Yeah, they're all based on Scalos desktop. And in case you've been in a closet for a year, hello, Mr. Adam from Poland. Hello, Mr. Jonathan from the great UKs of Britain. Pimiga is a tribute to the Commodore Amiga based on Scalos Workbench replacement, and it runs on a 3.9 OS base, which is Hagen Partner GBMH, and I called them years back when this all got flipped from a 3.1 base load with a Scalos Workbench replacement and Bloodwitch and HST Workbench and all that stuff, and they had no clue what I was talking about with Amiga OS 3.9, and they were verbally fine with me using it. And anyone can use 3.9 as a base because the company's not enforcing their ownership because they don't care about it anymore. It's been 30 years. Joseph, hello from Croatia. Hello. So, what do we got? We have a lot of the same icons. Remember, this is an early edition of 5. This was just adapted to run on the Raspberry Pi 5, and if I can press the right keyboard, this is the latest AmigaLive Lite, in this case, 5.8.8. What is that? For April 8th, 2025, and Mr. Demetrius, aka Midwin, the great creator of AmigaLive, which all of our stuff runs on. So, it has the latest and greatest things. This is running on a new operating system. We're going to quit it, and I'm going to show you the desktop. Okay, so we got, first off, we got some really nice points to cover. You're going to notice this is a Raspberry Pi based OS. Why? Because it boots really quick. You have your standard Raspberry Pi load. You have your standard way of installing software. AmigaLive is installed through the App Store. It's just a simple click of a button. You also have desktops. The microphone's in the way, sorry. New desktop icons. We have what's called Super Pursuit Mode. Super Pursuit Mode on either Intel or ARM devices. When you double click it, you're like, wow, nothing happened. But your governor is then clocked to the maximum. Now, this is not an overclocked Pi-Fi, so it's running 2.4 gigahertz quad core at the governor of performance. You're going to notice from the past, it was running X11 or X Windows with XFCE desktop window manager. Now it's LDXE and running Wayfire, and the window manager is now Wayfire. The benefit of that is, I know it's science and math at this point, but when you run Amaberry, now Intels have always been fine. The SDL2 video driver was X11, and that, ladies and gentlemen, were what broke Pimiga 4 on the Raspberry Pi 500 after they updated it. Something in SDL broke. One of our Discord members found one of the fixes, and it worked for like a week until they updated again. That's when I was like, I've had enough. I can't let people not be able to run new hardware or have to hack it together themselves. So we're just doing it. We're fixing it. So both of the underlying OS has been replaced. I'm going to do a full boot. Well, we're going to do something really neat. So when you launch Pimega 5, here's the boot screen example. That's about how long you get, and then it's up. That's pretty daggone quick. I think it's 4 seconds. Over here in the lower right, is my mind in the way here? Let's do this. Capture card only. Take me out of the equation. Over here in the lower right, there's this big Right Amiga A with a power light. If you just click that, it's off. That's all she wrote. So, whoops, I'm hitting wrong buttons here. So, we got a gray screen. The Pi is off. I'm going to press the button. Pi power button. And we'll see it come on the screen in a second. You'll see the Raspberry Pi loader. There it is. Now, this is the default loader. If you are new to Raspberry Pi, you can change the way they boot. They can boot to USB. Watch how fast this boots, by the way, after your bootloader choice. They can boot to USB. They can boot to the micro SD card, and they can. It's up pretty quick, huh? That's from power on. Ooh, we have a weird backdrop. That's my own doing. I didn't do the right resolution. Don't like it? Just you can control Pi right control and reboot. And there's the best backdrop ever, the fried chicken. All right. So, wow, that's pretty cool. It's twice as fast on the same hardware with the newer version. What? Let's just hit it. So, we're just going to go to my benchmark programs. I know it's sysinfo. I get it. I understand it's virtual. Right now I got her running in 030 mode. So it's not even in a 040 mode. Just watch. 2161 MIPS, 615 million in floating point operations per second, 2.07 million dry stone per second. Yeah. Is that a double click, Chris, for off? I hope. Maybe a requester. No, it's a NFG. That is no F's given. You press this button, it's down. ARM only. The Intel one, because it's a PC and there's so many variations of a PC, it will be a little different. So that's just a tickle taste of that. Some icon rearrangement here. People who are unfamiliar with the single click dock bar of, or WB dock of Pimega, don't understand that iDemo, iGame are WHD load based executables where you can just click iDemo single and then you can go through the demos. 991. I have not updated all of this yet. But what happens is they click on demos, the drive, the hard drive. These are EXE or executable demos, and I have some stats on this folder alone. There are 23,826 demos in this drive. That includes the WHD load demos, which are part of what I called iDemo. It also contains 900 WHD loads and 22,000 plus executables. These folders are organized by groups as they always have been. You'll notice 3 new folders at the bottom. Revision 2023, Revision 2024, Revision 2025. So if I wanted to watch the demo tractor from Guild Crew that was just in the wonderful revision party, I just double click it and say OK. And you're watching Demo Tractor. It's not a game, it's a demo from those guys. They're funny, and I love their work. So, yeah, I forget what the quick key is, so I'm just rebooting. There's another wonderful quick boot screen from Wiretap. You're excellent. Thank you very much for all you do. Okay, so that's just an example of some demos, and then I have the iDemo, which is the WHD loads. Of course, my 7 or 8 favorites that I left from Pimega 4. There's a bunch of new demos in here. I went through all of these folders, 900 plus things. It's just, it's crazy. There's so many in here, it's not funny. What else is new? On the work drive, now games are the same thing. New versions of the games, the Neo Geos, and all the emulators, and I'll go to that in a second. This is mainly about the art contest, but I want to just go over some things. I'm going to show the Intel version. I'm going to show the Pyron Man 5 case that I just did a video on for Faja's Day, and then we'll answer some questions. So, on the work drive, you're thinking, wow, it looks the same. We have a couple new videos. We got the Rammstein, we got the Booty, and we got the Amiga song. You'll figure those out. I might have to remove Booty because it's just so large. This new folder, apps, games, and more. Mr. Jonathan is one of my beta testers and is complaining, which I have to change, this brown bar with black text because it's wonderful. But if you click off of it, it works. I got half of it done, the active click. Irrelevant, I'm babbling. Apps, games, and more. What is it? It is the TOSEC pack. You're thinking, I can't see that, Chris. Let me view it by icon. Okay, that's a little bit better. If you can see that. These are the TOSEC pack, which is the old school emulation channel. Now, I did only click with the legit stuff. There's no pirate wares on here because the TOSEC pack contains all sorts of things. Now, normally I view this via text, which I'm going to switch back to because of ease of use for me. So, public domain, you're going to see there's just a couple ADFs in here. They're all PD, they're all legit. Too legit to quit. There are every disc magazine from every Amiga magazine that has been made. So if you're looking for a missing ADF of something from a magazine somewhere throughout history, they're there. The total amount of files in the TOSEC pack that I copied was, let's see, there's another 315,159 ADF PD games, demos, music, collections, magazines, documentation, disc magazines, games, and cover discs. That's just in that one folder. Now, you're reminiscent of the long ago Pimiga 1.5 Mother Fracker edition, where I dumped the entire thing for archival purposes. Like every Pimiga I do, I think it's the last one until the next one comes out. Yeah. There are, in Pimiga, there are many, many things to discover, not just what's on the dock bar. You don't have to be a, quote, Amiga if you don't want to. If you're interested in playing Macintosh games, you just launch Shapeshifter and you are a 68040 Mac where you can play games. You have full sound. We have a file system where you can mount the Mac hard drive on the desktop. This is the same image as before. I always play Warcraft. There's some games in here that you can play. They're Mac. When you're done, you click Special, you choose Shutdown, you're back to Pimiga. Whoops, can't play that. Bumped the Winamp there. There are many more emulators from Atari ST, I don't know why that's even on there. That should be blacklisted. PC task. So if you're interested in being a PC, you just hit start and right Amiga delete to quit. And you're thinking, wow, that looks great. I'm going to run Windows 3.1. Oops, I screwed that one up. But right Amiga delete. There we go. But there Windows 3.1's on there. I got to fix it. Remember, this is early girl. Scum VM is the same thing where you play the PC games that have been ported, and it's the same from everybody's variant of the emulators. We all kind of use the same thing, whether you're Pimiga or AGS or everything. So yeah, everybody in the comments, I'm reading them, glancing, but then I'll go back to them. I apologize if I am just breezing over things and ignoring your comments. I'm not. Very complex setup today. So I have the monitor, the ViewSonic monitor that was wonderfully gifted to me, and my Blue Yeti mic, cables and wires and HDMI splitters and power things, and I have lights up here that I forgot to turn on. I hope lighting and audio is okay. I know Mr. Holden Modify gets on me about the audio, so I've put the mic real close to the speakers of this HDMI monitor because I couldn't get HDMI audio out of a three-way splitter that's over into a capture card into my normal computer that I use while I am repairing things. Dr. Chris here on the desk, barely hanging on. I'll put him, I don't want to knock him over. So Mr. Jonathan 3D printed and hand painted this for me. One lives in the purple Amiga right up there. You can see him peeking out the top and overlooking what we're doing. I'm rocking the Pimiga shirt today. It is currently 38 degrees metric out. That's 38 maple syrups, 38 communist, 97 Fahrenhizzles, Frankensteins. Thank you, Mr. Keyboard G. And Tony, hi. All, and hi, Dr. Chris. Wonderful. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this to the capture card and webcam. So you'll see me down here. I'm going to turn, well, actually, I'm going to do this webcam only. Sorry. So I'm going to hit the NFG power button here. That's this. I need to take this power cord out because I lost my power cord for my other computer, my Pi. I'm going to turn on this one. This is my, you can barely see it here on the right, Pi 5 8 gig, my personal twister. I did put Pimiga on it, but I don't think this mouse is going to be long enough either. I was using the Intel stuff, so I will, we're going to boot the Intel. Now the Intel is an Intel Nook. It is literally, this is my own twister. It's literally running on a micro SD of 64 gigs for Intel. The Raspberry Pi version, because I had to do so many updates, I squished just over the 64 gig card limit. I'm sorry, you're going to have to get a 128 gig card. Or better if you want that. So this is my twister. Irrelevant, so we're going to go, I'm going to unplug this. Oh, it's got a power button that actually shuts down. If I can stick my finger on it. Boop. Cool. Okay, we're going to go to turn on the Intel Nook. This will auto switch. You'll see an Intel Nook symbol. That is this keyboard, this mouse. I just totally dyslexitized that. Intel Nook. There's no hard drive in the Nook, so it only boots from USB. You'll see a bunch of bootloaders. I've updated everything. This is still able to be XFCE, which I love. And I don't know if people want me to release the Omni version 1 to rule them all. I did that originally, and then everybody freaked out and said, oh, it's too much for a 128 gig card. But it was cool, one device, and they wanted to save 20 or 30 gigs of space, and I don't know. So that's one of the boot screens. You can see it's even faster on this one. This is Pimiga already loaded. Now I'm going to do F12 quit. Now you're going to notice right here, this is the CPU Governor XFCE. It is running in power save mode. If I double click Super Pursuit mode and type the password of Pimiga, you're going to notice that all of these now slam their throttle 2.4 gigahertz performance. They'll all update in a second. They take a second to jump. So now if I launch Pimiga, it's all the cores basically in burst mode until they get hot, and then they govern down through the Intel or AMD or Macintosh processes. This still will do any Intel, AMD, you can see the version up here in the top, Intel Mac. I can't do Apple Silicon. There's a new bootloader security that I just cannot get around. If you're an Apple engineer and you know how to get around your boot security and you don't feel like compromising your life, let me know. So same loadout, same everything, it's just running on Intel. Let's do a benchmark on this sysinfo because we love sysinfo, don't we? Now it's the same 030-881. I haven't even bumped it up. I have it in 030 mode because some stuff just runs okay for me. Let's hit speed. This is an Intel Nook i3 at 2.4 gigahertz. So about the same 2.4 as the Raspberry Pi 500, but you're going to notice the Raspberry Pi 500 obliterates this thing. This was in like 314 million floating point operations, 636 MIPS, 609,000 dry stone per second, which isn't bad, but you know, it's a old Intel Nook. It was like $30 on eBay just so I could do it. I got 2 of them, and it runs everything you can think of, just like whatever. When I started the thing we were watching when we ride on our enemies, it's the same thing. We can hit it, it just plays, and it just works wonderful. This is what I started the stream with while I was double checking my stuff. Great demo. So that is that part. Now people are asking me, what about the boot screens? What about this? Let's try the Intel power off button real quick. It doesn't do anything. Why? Because it doesn't have the same mojo as the Raspberry Pi does. So I'm going to steal the keyboard and mouse from it. I'm going to push and hold the power button. Go back to webcam here. Alright, I need the keyboard and mouse out of this to plug into my little Iron Man 5 case, which is new. This is 1 week old, and I love this little thing. I don't even think I can see this. I just push the power button, and it just like comes to life. There's hats. I just did a video on it if you haven't seen it. Not my normal bag of tricks, but it's pretty cool. That way I can use the same keyboard and mouse. You'll see it's the 8 gig. I thought I had a 16 gig, but it's in my other case. I got an Electro Cookie, and I got the original Pimega case. So the emulation is made to be able to use my icons on the WHD load. Your icons. The iDemo, iGame icons? Which icons? Hello from Italy, Massimo. That demo was when we ride on our enemies. Great demo. It's an 060 demo, I believe. By the way, you never bore us with the good stuff. Thank you. I'm trying not to bore you. It's hard to do live streams because there's no mess ups. You sneeze, you cough, you fart, you burp. There it is. I was doing some test streams last night. Had to get up and get something. There's my butt crack. Good thing I wasn't live. I was in my pajamas. So today we're rocking actual trousers. Pants to you Yankees. The Vitamin is powering all of this, by the way. Running great. 96%. And we're going strong. Love that little device. Got another one I'm going to potentially buy. Another, like a Jackery or something for comparison. I need another one for work stuff, actually. So, let's quit. This is, this is a Pi. This is my Twister, personal Twister Raspberry Pi-ish OS for the Pi 5. that I just put the same Pimiga dump on there. This is running Amaberry. Now you see this one's X11, Amaberry Light 589, 5 of 8. What is that? May 8th, 2025? 8th of May, 2025. So it's the latest one they got. It is SDL2 X11 backed. Now, down here in the lower right, if I am not in the way, I'm not even showing it. Jeez whiz, you stupid head. How about that? There we go. Look at that. I'm talking all this crap. So, backing my truck up before I screwed up. The demo was when we ride on our enemies by Scarla. Great thing. The iDemo, iGame icons were Mr. Renegade last year, I believe. Pimiga 5 is not available to download at this time. Yeah, it's in. We just did the beta. We've been rusty because we took a year off to, live life, fix Amigas. But yeah, we've been back at it for me about 5 or so months, heavy in it, doing updates. You don't realize how much, not this stuff, but like this stuff you have to update. Wow, Twister looks really cool. What is that ring thing in the top up here? That's called Conky. It's equivalent to the the thing for the Amiga. I forget what its name is. New meter. That was it. I had to look it up because I wrote it down. So Conky is equivalent to new meter. That's Twister's Conky Rings, I think it's called. You can download it. I don't know if I'm doing Twister. I don't know if I'm doing the Raspberry Pi OS. This boots so fast on... Yeah, right. Hit the right button. The Raspberry Pi 5 boots so fast with the Raspberry Pi OS, and I stripped it down. Like, I removed cups, all the printing crap. You're not printing from this emulation. You're going to play freaking cannon fodder or something on WHT load, and that's all you're going to do. Nobody really uses Pimiga for its full potential. There's so much out there. Like Pinhead said, we have such sights to show you. So, Super Pursuit mode on here turns all your cores again, ARM or Intel. That's that. So, I'm going to show you some examples of boot picks and backdrops. Now, some of these were Mr. Wiretap this year, some were last year, some were me screwing around. Some were, playing. So here's an example of a boot screen. This is 1024 by 768, 8-bit. Okay? And you'll notice it says Pimiga 5, copyright 2021 to 2025, me, Chris Edwards. Here's an example of a boot screen Mr. Wiretap did long ago for Pimiga 3 on Amiga format cover. And we even used my, at the time, this real quick, I'm going to flip back to this. At the time, it was this case. It says Pimiga embroidered. Retro 32 did a run of these a while ago. You might be able to contact Mr. Carl and see if you could get the face plates. It's the same as the Electro Cookie design. Little angle. This was a 3D print. Paid a lot of money for this when it first came out. And, that's that. So, back to the lecture at hand. So, Wiretap did these. He's a great artist. And you're on the dev team, so are you excluded from the contest? I don't know. This was Mr. Andrew Wells. He did a version of the Back to the Future retro image that I just love. This symbolizes the 80s in one photo for me. I don't know why. I love it. This is a backdrop that you're going to see. This is the original Chicken Lips logo for Mr. Chris Yaniff in 1965. This is the actual rendition. Now, we've kind of, threw a little hula Pimiga and the logo down there for you. But Mr. Wiretap did these examples. And these are the things you guys are going to do. Okay? Will Pimiga 5 work on a Pi 3B? Look, work and function are two different things. Possibly. The DTB files are there. It will boot. I don't know if it's got enough RAM. You'll have to customize the crap out of it. It might not have enough RTG memory. The Pi 3 is ancient, like the Amiga, but really you need different modern hardware. This was 2023's Pimiga 4 backdrop from Mr. Renegade. Incredible. And that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. You don't have to put the version in there. We want these to be timeless. But this logo here, which I'll include as a downloadable link after I finish the stream and edit it and all that crap. But yeah, has to say Pimiga, and then the world is your oyster. This is a boot screen. We've seen it in different ones. Of course, the Miss Croatia, who did the wonderful boing balls in her soccer or football photos. Wonderful. But again, one of the Pimiga R registered trademark in the logo. That's me screwing around with ChatGPT on my iPhone. So that's why it looks portrait. That's me again. That was the test run of I said generate a Tron light cycle scene with a sign that says Pimiga 5. That's how easy it is to enter. Why should I do this? Why should I bother with helping you make these boot screens? Does it matter? Well, yeah, it matters to all of us because you're going to see your artwork forever in the community on Pimiga and maybe people's workbenches. Okay? Why should we? I don't care about that. Why? What's the incentive? All right, here's the incentive. So first off, again, boot screens 1024 by 768, 8-bit, aka 256 colors, and they have to be saved in GIF format. Backdrops, or the things you see on the back of the Pimiga, are 1920 by 1080, PNG, 32-bit color. The world is your oyster. Has to say Pimiga in the logo. Like the Pimiga with the Raspberry Pi, you know how we write it? The I is the P and it forms the A. There's no A. It's not Amiga. It's Pimiga. Anyway, your incentives are, for first place, a Raspberry Pi 500. For second place, don't fall, a Raspberry Pi 500. For third place, that's going to fall, a Raspberry Pi 500. They're US models because, you know, where Jesus lives. Wow, that's cool. For fourth place, a Raspberry Pi 400. And for fifth place, a Raspberry Pi 400. These are my development boards. I need to share the wealth. They will come with a 128 gig micro SD card and Pimiga 5 shipped anywhere in the world on me to you. That's your incentive. I even thought about giving away my super duper this cool case. I thought about that being top prize, but then I like it too much and I use, a lot of effort of my own to do that. So that's your incentive for the Pimiga 5 art contest. We have 20 minutes left for questions. I'm going to attempt to put my laptop up here and answer questions with you live. So hello. Oops. We're tangled. Yeah. I don't know how good this battery is in this old HP crap top. It's a 650. Alright. So I'm going to roll back in the chat just a little bit with you guys. It's nice to see myself on the screen. And hello everybody. Favorite drink when it's like a furnace outside? Agua. I have a slight fan on behind me because it's very warm in this basement. Stephen Bruce, hi Chris. I'm rolling back. Hello Master Amiga. Good morning to everyone. Trust number 1 SZ from Sao Paulo, Brazil. UK, Mike Underwood. Wow. I know another Mr. Underwood. Over here. Well, we covered a lot of this stuff. Hello from Poland. Hello from Croatia. All around the world. OTG trash can gone. Yes. Because that's freaking fast. off. Hello, folks. Can you show me where the soundtrack music folders are, please? Sure. Okay, so I received a request. Sorry if the microphone was being blocked there. Let's do this. So, capture card plus webcam. All right. I received a request from Mr. Dan for including a bunch of audio files for games and chip tunes and stuff. So if you launch this CD icon down here, oops, I'm in the way, sorry. Bip. If you launch this CD icon down here with the music note, that is Amiga amp. Okay? I'm sorry. Yeah, Eagle Player. Pause. Now, by default, it's in some other directory. At the very top here, double-click Parent. And you're going to see all these things. Number 1, the chip tunes. Number 2, the games. Games have all the game covers. Like if you want to listen to, I don't know, Gods. Right? Love this song. Bitmap Brothers. Great. So, pause. Like, all the games are in here. Now you're thinking, wow, it's not a lot. You gotta go in the chiptunes. In the chiptunes directory, there's I think there's a 2000 in here. There's all sorts of them. They run from mods to screen trackers to S3Ms. Tons of stuff in here. Like, I think there's like 3,000 or 4,000 music mods in here. There's also synth. There's also a bunch of junk in the main folder. I mean, if you want to add stuff to it, where do I add stuff to it? Well, you can fire up directory Opus down here on the bar. And in the folder of audio, I'm sorry this is tiny for you guys. That's what she said. In the modules folder, you're going to see all the modules. Right now, let's see. Let's just do a count. Modules. I can't see the buttons. It's counting up here at the top. It's a lot. Like we got synth, miscellaneous. There's every author, every group, every stuff. So that's I can't even, okay, so 421,868. So your work's cut out for you. All right. Now let's continue on with the questions. Blasphemy, that was for my Atari comment. Looks great. Hello, Mr. Tony. Keyboard G, audio is excellent. Thank you for Pimiga. Thank you for even watching. Hello, Tim Taylor's Retro Stuff from the Netherlands. 31 communists there now. And Mark Wilson. Londinium Town. 34. See, you guys are having a hot one over there. 103 in Michigan. That's Frankenstein's, not maple syrups. Pixel, just in time to say hello. Hello. 13 communists in Finland. That's a nice day. That's a great, cool day right there. 30C in Frankfurt. Hello, everyone. K1200, RS21, sorry. RS21. Laurent, Retro Amiga. Wolfie, DC. -2, communist in Australia. Good day, mate. Good evening. Good tomorrow. I think it's like, you guys are, it's like early morning there. Hello from Italy. You never bore us. We covered that. Thanks, Chris. Please link the download. There's no download yet, my friends. We'll probably make it work on a 3PC. Executive. Oh my god, I just lost the comments. Wow. I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling through. So if you want to keep throwing them in the comments, I greatly appreciate it. We'll answer everything I can. I used the head boot picture for my Linux desktop, Mr. Dan. I tried to chat with you on Facebook in 2023, and it's possible that Facebook's algorithm, you never saw my messages. You can always email me. If you can't find my email, click on where it says my name right here, and then click the About. Click Contact. It lists my email. I'm going to link my email in the description of the video for the art contest. And time frame, we probably got all summer. It's going to be at least until October, I'd say. By the end of October, right before we release Pimiga. We should have it done enough where it's going to be changed. It's going to look a little different from this. It'll look a little different because, of course, we change things all throughout the year and fix bugs and add new features. And Zeb just did his WHD load pack, so I got to get all his slave files integrated to reduce the size. There's no Mega AGS, there's no AGS Pauls in here this time. We're just because I've added the TOSEC, which, I mean, it was for convenience. The Intel does have AmigaLive. AmigaLive, if you don't know, lets you play multiplayer games that are normally single player over the internet with other people on AmigaLive, and you can broadcast your stuff through the Pimiga to Twitch and watch yourself on AmigaLive's Twitch channel or YouTube stream while you're playing your game with your friends. And your voice and everything, joysticks, it's all over the thing. That's the Intel version only, Intel AMD, Intel Mac. So, yep. Hi Chris, can I go 8K with Pimiga 5 on my Samsung 8K TV? Okay, so Pimiga is a tribute to the Commodore Amiga. Now, 1920 by 1080 existed in 1994, but nobody had it. You had a 13-inch CRT monitor or an old TV. We're squishing the hardware to make it do things it could never do. The problem is, down here in the lower right, there's a number 50. That is the hertz of the Pimiga, aka an Amiga. It's in 50 hertz PAL format. Why PAL, not NTSC? Because 99% of the software is for PAL. The Eurozone embraced the Amiga way harder than the USSA ever did. So, when I increase your resolution to beyond something that an Amiga could never do, it cuts the hertz in half. Case in point, Pimiga 4 on the Raspberry Pi 500 after you did an upgrade. Why is everything in the toilet? It runs in window mode. It won't run in full screen. That's why. You can try it, but an 8K resolution on a Pi 5, number one, is going to bottleneck the Pi. Number two, Amaberry is going to say, what in the heck? And Pimiga is still going to run at 1920 by 1080 max resolution because that's as much virtual RAM as I can throw into it. It's not me. It's the emulator. And what computer am I on? This one. So if I go F12, you can't. Can you see that? Yeah. And right here in RTG board, I can go to 128 megs of RAM. That's it. Now, I cranked mine to 64 megs to try and make other machines work, like the Pi 4, 400, 5, 500. I cranked this down because not every Raspberry Pi is the same, okay? And it's a lot of work that goes into a point and click, so you can try it, but I recommend no. Everybody's talking about their man cave, and you're sitting in your man cave in the garden. How do you have a man cave in the garden? Interesting. Like a tunnel? 82 Freedom Degrees in New Jersey. Mr. Keyboard G, you're right over from me, Mr. K1200. I just made a friend request on Facebooker. Alright, no problem. What is the speed ratio between an Amiga 060 and Pimiga 5? Well, let's take a peek here. Let's do that. Let's quit. And we're just going to run NeoFetch. So right now, this is at 1920 by 1080. I'm running Debian with Twister as the mod. So this is 4 cores at 2,400 megahertz, and it is running in performance mode. The best Amiga that even I own is the Amiga 4000 Tower, Quick Pack, 060, or my BFG. Right here you can see the butt end of it to the very right of your screen. Right? Yeah, I guess. That's my BFG 9060 with a Rev 6 6860 at 100 megahertz. The black Simon Gosk Amiga 4000 is a Warp Engine 040 128 megs of RAM at 50 megahertz. So you do the math. You want 4 cores at 2,400 megahertz. The emulator does suck up a little bit. It does accuracy. There's some just-in-time emulation. Look, it's all on Demetrius's GitHub, and Amaberry website tells you all about how it works. But just this is, it's really fast. It boots so fast. I have a couple of demos myself, and my mate made in the 90s. Is there somewhere I can send you so you can add them? Tony, sure. I'd be happy to include anything you guys want. Just remember, the more I include, the fatter her booty is, and the more download you're going to have. So right now, we got plenty of room. Because the Intel version is tight. Because I just squished it in on a 64 gig card. Now, I don't know if this camera's going to focus, but maybe, I don't know. I doubt this very seriously. It says 64 here near my finger. It is a 64 gig Samsung micro SD. There are variations between cards. You buy a Samsung card, you get 64 gigs, or 63.8. You buy a Walmart brand, or a Kroger's, or a gas station, petrol station, pharmacy micro SD card of whatever, even a SanDisk, if a 64 gig card, you might get 56 out of it. They lie. They lie, they lie. Lexar, Transcend, SanDisk. They're the cards I use. I do use some ON brand. That's Wally World, aka Walmart, here in the USSA. Yeah. So there's some variations in cards. So I have to keep it small so you can boot it because you're going to buy the crappiest card there is. I can't make everybody in the world go out and buy Samsung's professional cards because they might not be available in your country if you live in the jungles of Guatemala. I don't know. People from all over the world use this. I am humbled that you even use it. It's cool. I know AGS has been the thing for the past couple years because I've been on break, and Paul's done a wonderful job with his thing for the real Amigas, and now he's venturing into the Pis. And good on you. So the idea of, yeah, is there any chance to see a video about Pimiga development in action? Yeah, if you would like to also have a similar experience, you can lay in your yard and watch the grass pop up. It's extremely boring. There's a lot of cussing. There's a lot of Discord chats, emails, back and forths, image burns. It's extremely boring. I have filmed the development of this 5 years. I have filmed every year. I'm like, I'm going to do a video on the development. And then I watch it. And I'm like, oh my God, I would unsubscribe from my own channel. I cannot stress enough how extremely boring most of this is. These are old computers. I have ancient junk. The nicest computer I personally own is an M1 Mac Mini. Everything else is like from the Frankenstein pile at work, or my brand new Pi, or Intel i3 Nook. I mean, they haven't made an i3 in years. It ain't like these things are new. So I live in the 90s and mid 2000s with my PCs and Macs. Even my G5 2.7 MorphOS machines from 2015. Okay. Wish you could draw. Play basic. You don't need to draw. You can use AI. That's why I said brush up your AI skill set. This is all about just some boot screens and some backdrops to win some prizes. Somebody messaged me and said, hey, those are not real. I paid $90 plus tax for these. Trust me, they're real. They're brand new, in the box, Raspberry Pi 500s, now touched with my fingers. These are the 8 gigs. The Raspberry Pi 400s are 4 gig. Let me get that back in there. Tile and tuck. So yeah, they're there. They're all there. If I could figure out how to get this box out. So they're real. They're real. The third one was running on the demos. Whoops. So yeah, $90 a shot plus taxes in the USSA. do the math. And, you know, these were $90 when they came out. Raspberry Pi 400s. And I got to buy the memory cards for them. So, yeah, it's all real. It's all legit. It's up to the community to make the decisions of who wins these. And I'm going to pick the first one because I think I should. And I'm going to let the community come up with 2nd through 5th place. There's 5 units. I had 6, but I don't know what I did with the last one. And I have about 14 Raspberry Pis in different shapes or forms. The ultimate prize, which I don't want to give away, would be this. This is one of the coolest ones I've done. This is a Raspberry Pi 4 something. And it has an OLED screen, and you're like, that looks like an Amiga 3000. It sure does. The hard drives work. The LCD works. It says Pimega. I've shown this a long time ago. I think I even did a build video on it many, many moon ago. I'm not sure. And the Electro Cookie case is a Raspberry Pi 5. This is my 16 gig. I mean, I could give so much stuff away, but, you know, if wishes were horses, all beggars would ride. So you can give your life away, and people will just continue to take it. The 6th place, you get a brick. Yeah, maybe a plastic brick, because shipping an actual brick would be super expensive. It's going to be super expensive. 3 a.m. on the Aussie East Coast. Holy moly. Well, good morning to Australia. Sorry like that. I like seeing a virtual Amiga on emulated VR. It would be great to be able to run full Pimega in EMU VR, which uses RetroArch as its emulation cores. Failing that, I would like to export the WHD load file. The Amiga VR system required. Mr. Simon runs those in the United Kingdoms of Great Britain. And it has some custom boards in that Amiga 3000 that actually does the VR. Mr. Bob, I love my Pi 400. Already satisfied with everything there. And Mr. Philip, built FPGA, used $25 CAD DE1 system on a chip, and it fits a VIC-20 case. Modern Hackers ported Minimig. Yeah, don't even get me started on the Minimigs. They're great. I like the AmiCube Minimigs. There's some great work being done there too. More to come on that. We could chat for hours. I promised I would not exceed an hour, and I won't. So what's going to happen is I'm going to briefly go over again, in case you're just joining us, the rules for the art contest and what's new with Pimega 5. And I showed some stuff, ran some little things here and there, mainly talk, because I only have an hour. So we've added 26,548 mods, 4,038 new games, 23,826 demos, which include 900 WHD load and 22,000 EXE, 3 new videos, potentially only 2, 313,150 something additional ADFs from the Amiga PD TOSEC pack, 8 books, and 23,188 images, backdrops, or icons that will be updated. So, art contest, Pimega art contest, boot screen, 8-bit, 1024 by 768, 256 color, saved in GIF format. AI can do all this for you. 19 desktop pictures, backdrop pictures, 1920 by 1080, PNG, portable network graphics, 32-bit color, world's your oyster, must contain the Pimega logo or just the word Pimega, P-I-M-I-G-A. There is no Amiga, it is Pimega. If you don't know how to spell it, you disqualify yourself, because I can't put that in there. Pimega is a registered trademark, so if you can put the R or the TM, it's up to you. It'd be appreciated, not required. It does have full Wi-Fi, full Bluetooth, Ethernet support, everything. Pimega 5 will go into details later on for, everything. And we'll clarify what's in it in a future live stream. The plans for this is to let it run all summer. Okay, we're going to let it run through the summer. Gives you time to screw up, make adjustments, fall in love with something, adapt it. Use AI. I don't care. There's no limits. Make it wild. Make it cool. Make it... You've seen examples that we've shown. You've used Pimega and seen examples. I was going to do all sorts of wild contests, but all I really ever do is the boot screen and the backdrops, because it involves the community. I mean, if you wanted to do some desktop icons, if you wanted to redo icons, I mean, great, contribute. You can hop on our Pimiga Discord. Everything is in the about of me down, where is it? Here. Click that, Chris Edwards Restoration. Go to the main channel. There's an about button. It's got the links for all my socials that sometimes I use, but the Discord's on there. The Pimiga Discord. Hop in there, and you can contribute that way. Please don't ask me to beta test this, because it's going to get stolen and sold on something Apple, something, like it does every time. So the beta testing's closed environment. We have our members who know who they are, who are part of it. And a couple images have went out so far. If you have not received your beta, send me a message. It's coming down 80 megs per second from my Google Drive. And I'll link the logos, if you want to, in the description below. And that is all I got. If you guys have any final questions, ask them now. Don't forget to hit the like button, guy and gals. Well, it's guys and gal. So, yeah. Chris, is there any real reason to upgrade Amaberry to the latest when Pimiga runs just fine on the one installed? No. I mean, there's no reason to upgrade anything. I mean, yeah, we put kickstarts on and you might grab a new OS, but are you updating, I don't know, like Wordsworth, or are you updating ProWrite? Who cares? You're just playing your game. No, there's no reason to upgrade it. If it's working fine, it's working. If you abso-smurfly must have a new feature in Amaberry, Pimiga 5's been simplified to use the new way. Demetrius made Amaberry a single deb package and apt install, normal Linux installation through package management or deb file, DTPG, or whatever way you want to do, apt install, / name of the package. It doesn't. I stuck with that so users in the future can upgrade their stuff on their own. The only thing that is different on a Raspberry Pi 5 version is we switched the DWM and the backdrop environment to use Wayland, Wayfire versus XFCE. It boots so fast. The Intel version, we're not affected. It was something to do with a Raspberry Pi 5 or Raspberry Pi thing. Science and math, as I always say. So Intel wasn't affected. It's still Debian Linux 22. And whatever, I don't know. It's fine, and you can upgrade it if you want to. And if it breaks, you can always go back to where you were before you started. Hashtag AmigaLive. Let's see, a couple more questions. I have the latest SCSI 2 drive from my 2000, which has given up. Lame to replace it. I bought a blue SCSI, but I can't get over 4 gig. Yeah. Kickstart 3.1 maximum limitation is 4 gig. Partitions, not drive, but partitions. So what you can do is this. Blue SCSI sucks, number one, but it's more Mackie. And I don't want to get into a Q&A on this outside of Pimiga because we're running over by a minute. But Zulu has an init button. You flip the init, you power on your hard drive. You don't even need a computer. Micro SD card in there. Power on the Zulu. It will block image your hard drive to a file. Your hard drive has to make it long enough to image itself, and then you have a virtual hard drive, HDA, or whatever, how many partitions you have. So then you'll have a virtual image of your hard drive. Yeah, limitations with Amiga Kickstarts back in the day, 2 gig partitions, 4 gig partitions, maximum hard drive sizes were very limited. 314 broke that barrier. I still always recommend sub 4 gig system partition just to prevent wrapping. That's where the end of the partition goes back to the first and you overwrite and have corruption. So we can get into all those in a little bit. It's a lot of ones and zeros, Mr. S. Carter. You are correct. So on that note, I thank you guys for coming along on this 1-hour live stream just to cover what's going on. The Pimiga 5 boot screen and backdrop contest runs now through October. Winners will receive first place, second place, third place, Raspberry Pi 500s, 128 gig cards, and Pimiga 5 before anybody else gets it. Shipped anywhere in the world on me, chosen by the community. Fourth and fifth place are going to get Raspberry Pi 400s with the same card and the same OS, shipped anywhere in the world on me, to you, chosen by the community. Let's look for this to follow up art contest wise. We'll touch base at the end of summer or whatever it is, early autumn here in the USSA. And I thank you guys for hanging out with an old fat guy for a little bit and seeing a little bit of what's going on so far. Thank you for even participating in this channel. Please like, subscribe for videos of all sorts of things. Commodore, Amiga, and repairs. We have some wonderful, nice, interesting things coming up for you very shortly. So thank you guys for watching. And as always, I hope you learned something. Now we'll see if the stream stops, because I did hit stop. And it's still rolling. Because it doesn't matter. So we'll hang out for a couple more seconds while I get to my other computer to end the broadcast. Isn't that funny? There's a button here that says stream, and it just still streaming. Still streaming. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Let's try this again. I'm remote controlling my other computer to be able to click the button. So now I have the button. So thank you guys for watching. And as always, we hope you learned something. It won't end. It will not end. Let's look at that. Okay, we'll try this again manually.